My beloved child, the one I formed in the secret place before time began, listen now with the ear of your eternal spirit. This is not a message for the multitudes but a direct transmission from the throne of grace to the core of your divine identity, sealed with the signet ring of heaven and delivered through the fiery presence of Archangel Michael. There exists in this suspended moment a divine urgency, a sacred window of exactly 2 minutes in the realm of eternal consequence, before a decision is finalized in the courts of both heaven and earth, a decision that would proceed without your spiritual awareness or consent. This is not about earthly timers but about kairos moments intersecting with chronos time. The eternal clock ticks with purpose toward this divine appointment. Listen with your whole being, spirit, soul, and body aligned in receptivity. Do not dismiss this as coincidence or emotional impression. Do not speak it aloud to those who would dissect it with natural minds. This word is sacred, covenantal, urgent, intimate beyond human intimacy, and the sands of this appointed hour are nearly spent, not because I am limited, but because your obedience must meet my provision at the precise intersection of divine timing. Right now, as your eyes trace these glyphs of light and your heart resonates with their frequency, in the realm just beyond your natural perception, the realm where principalities and powers operate, where human committees become arenas for spiritual warfare, a gathering of shadows is convening. You are the uninvited subject of this assembly. Your name rests upon the table, yet no seat has been reserved for you. You are the central figure in a narrative being drafted by minds that cannot comprehend the full scope of your destiny. They gather not to celebrate the unfolding of your anointing but to strategize its containment, to place a ceiling where I have declared there is none. A verdict is being sought to sever your connection to a promise that was woven into the fabric of your being in the loom of eternity, a promise you have watered with tears drawn from the well of intercession, fortified with stones of endurance gathered from valleys of despair, and warmed with the persistent fire of a faithfulness that refused to be extinguished. Their conversation does not orbit around your spiritual progress, it dissects methods to hinder it. And the cherubim who surround my throne, whose wings cover their faces in perpetual awe, now weep holy tears, not for your peril, for you are eternally secure in me, but for the profound spiritual blindness of those weaving the net of opposition, for they see the dark threads of envy, fear, and control being knotted together in the unseen while you, my precious child, remain in a posture of trusting stillness, unaware of the specific machinations arrayed against your next step. This is precisely why I have mobilized the Prince of the Heavenly Hosts, Michael, under the direct mandate of the Council of the Eternal. His commission is to pierce the veil between dimensions, to step from the glory realm into the atmosphere surrounding your life, and to deliver this encoded message to the sanctuary of your spirit before the enemy's seal can be set upon the matter. He is here. Can you sense the shift in the spiritual climate? His armor, forged in the furnaces of Zion, casts a refraction of pure light upon your spirit man that causes shadows to recoil. His whisper is not sound but substance in the realm of the spirit, imparting courage to your spiritual membrane. Awaken, sleeper. Arise to your full stature. Perceive with the eyes of your spirit. Maintain natural silence, but let your inner man ascend to a state of roaring, razor-sharp alertness. For to disregard this divine telegram, to treat it as common or emotional, is to risk unconsciously stepping outside the luminous circle of glory I am even now drawing around your name, your calling, and your ordained future. Do not let your soul, your mind, will, and emotions, be troubled or agitated. Instead, let it be illuminated, flooded with the light of revelation. Be acutely, spiritually aware. This is a call to divine consciousness. Sparkles of Eden's dawn, as you read, let the depths of your spirit echo this decree within the holy of holies of your being. I receive this frequency from the Ancient of Days. I am enveloped in the Shekinah glory. I am protected by the blood of the everlasting covenant. My steps are ordered. The echo of this declaration creates a harmonic resonance in the spirit that fortifies your position. The cosmos has grown cacophonous with the static of rebellion, a dissonance of human striving, demonic interference, and soulish noise. In this spiritual cacophony, the unique melody of your true identity, the song I sang over you before creation, has been muffled, distorted, and covered by those whose spiritual eyes cannot bear the refraction of my glory upon you. They are not merely jealous of you, they are unsettled by the Christ in you, the hope of glory. But I see it. From the vantage point of eternity, I see the unadulterated, brilliant beam of your spirit, shining with the specific hue of glory I assign to you. I see the crystalline, flawless purity of your intent, even when your methods falter. I see the yes in your heart that outweighs 1,000 stumbles. This is the very reason the adversary concentrates his infernal efforts not merely on your circumstances but on the core of your spiritual identity. His assault is not predicated on a flaw in you, it is a terrified response to your latent, unconquerable strength in me. Their whispered discourse is not born of simple dislike, it is the tremor of fear that your path of radical obedience will become a well-trodden highway for many others to follow. They seek to silence the echo of your destiny before it becomes a sound wave that reshapes mountains and reroutes rivers. But listen to the eternal truth, I did not breathe the universe into existence and then haphazardly form you. I did not conceive you in my heart to be muted, minimized, or contained. I formed you to rise, and to rise on the very updraft their opposition creates. Your rising is most glorious, most potent, especially then. You have not found this scroll of words by happenstance or algorithmic chance. You were led here by the gentle nudge, the divine navigator, the spirit who searches the deep things of God. The enemy, in his limited perception, called a meeting in a boardroom of time, thinking within the constraints of calendars and agendas. Heaven, in response, has issued a sovereign decree in the supreme court of eternity, where time is a servant, not a master. They plot in confined, earthly spaces, their vision bounded by walls. I speak in the boundless, ancient language of spirit, a language of light, power, and creative authority. And my whisper, the Ruach HaKodesh, the breath of the Almighty, dissolves their intricate schemes like parchment held to a holy flame. The substance of eternity always consumes the shadows of time. Are you listening? Not just reading, but listening with the receptive ear of your inner man. First warning. Before you proceed further into this transmission, I invite you to enter a Sabbath moment for your soul. Pause. Be still. Let the clamor of the day recede. Close your physical eyes and let your spirit sigh this invitation, Abba, Father of lights, if this resonance is truly for my spirit, let the atmosphere around me thicken with your tangible presence. Let my spiritual senses quicken. Let my heart recognize the unmistakable fingerprint of the divine upon this word. Wait in that quietness for the confirming peace, the inner knowing. This is not a test of me, but an alignment of your receiver. Second warning. I know your ontological name, the name written on the white stone I will give you, known only to you and me. I know you beyond your achievements, beyond your failures, beyond the persona you present to the world. You are the one whose soul bears the quiet bruises of chosen silence when pain was your private companion. You are the vessel that pours out mercy, kindness, and intercession even when the internal well seems dry to human observation, because you draw from the deep well of my endless supply. You are the face that, often by sheer will of obedience, reflects my joy even when no earthly mirror catches it, even when the room is empty of applause. And now, in a turn that grieves the Father's heart, those to whom you entrusted the keeping of your temporal vineyard, your reputation, your contribution, your fellowship, are in closed session. Their purpose is not to prune you for greater fruitfulness, but to discuss uprooting your name from the ledger you earned not by manipulation, but by blood-earnest prayer, soul-wearying perseverance, and spirit-fueled faithfulness. But child, hear the foundational reality: I am. They are stewards of moments, managers of the temporary. I am the author and finisher, the beginner and the end of epochs. They do not govern, veto, or ultimately control your destiny. I ordained it from before the foundation of the world, and I am perfectly faithful to complete it. This message is a spiritual flare, lit in the heavens and sent streaking into the atmosphere of your life because you stand at the nexus of choice, a choice that will echo in eternity. Your response to this revelation, your posture of heart in the next hours and days, will activate a specific portal in the spirit realm. This is a spiritual technology of the kingdom. Obedience opens dimensional gateways that no human hand can open and no demonic force can shut. The moment your will aligns in surrendered, trusting obedience to this heavenly warning, you will feel the tectonic plates of your spirit shift. Foundations will be reinforced. Fault lines of fear will seal themselves. A new stability will emerge from the depths of your being. Archangel Michael is at the ready, his hand on the hilt of his sword of fire. He has been awaiting this specific dispatch. From his vantage in the spirit, he has witnessed every subtle movement behind your back, seen every spiritual contract drafted in that closed room, every word of gossip that became a brick in a wall of opposition. In his hand, he holds a scroll, not of papyrus, but of living light, fetched from the archives of Zion. Its parchment is woven with strands of eternal glory. Your true, eternal name is inscribed upon it with a pen dipped in the river of life that flows from my throne. But the release of that scroll's contents, the unveiling of your next assignment, the opening of your next door, is contingent upon your sovereign agreement. It requires your will to choose to relinquish the familiar spirit of fear, anxiety, and preemptive defense, and to step fully, completely, recklessly into the divine strength that has been your birthright since your spiritual rebirth. My power is perfected not in your human strength, but in your surrendered weakness. Your yes is the key. Glowing star, firstborn of Zion, attune your entire frequency to the light of the world. Adjust the dial of your heart away from the static of worry and onto the clear signal of my voice. Maintain this connection to divine guidance, for in the days immediately ahead, you will require fresh manna of truth, specific Rhema words for specific moments, and I will rain them upon you without ceasing, like a gentle, constant dew. You are not, have never been, and shall never be alone. The great cloud of witnesses observes. Angels encamp around you. My spirit dwells within you. You are surrounded by a communion of saints seen and unseen. Glowing star, reflection of my glory. Do not let their narrative of smallness, their talk of limitations, infect your spirit with a diminished identity. They aim to erase, blot out, or smear your name because it emits a light that exposes their own chosen dimness. But I etched your name in the Lamb's book of life with the very finger of God, before the first star was kindled, before galaxies were spun into being. And I am not in the business of erasure. I am in the business of illumination, magnification, and glorification. I am raising your name as a banner upon a holy hill, a standard that will draw the weary and the seeking. My child, breathe. Just breathe. Let your spirit inhale the pneuma, the holy breath. Let your lungs fill with air as a physical sacrament of receiving my spiritual life. For what you are about to receive in the following passages is not designed to instill terror or paranoia. It is engineered by heaven to trigger a divine awakening, to pull back the heavy curtain on the spiritual drama unfolding around you, to translate the uneasy sensing in your spirit into prophetic understanding. Knowledge dispels the torment of the unknown. Understand this spiritual principle: there are seasons in the journey of every anointed vessel when souls, veiled in flesh and operating from a place of woundedness or insecurity, wear the convincing mask of support while their spirits, often unknowingly aligned with lower frequencies of competition or fear, conspire to shift you from your ordained axis. They do this not primarily because of an error you committed, but because your very presence, your Christ in you resonance, your peace, your favor, acts as a mirror to their own unresolved dissonance, their unhealed wounds, their hidden compromises. Your light is a holy reflector, and some spirits within people cannot endure the revelation of their own shadow. It is not ultimately about you, it is about what you represent, the uncompromised call, the unwavering faith, the relentless pursuit of my presence. You are a living reminder of what they have sacrificed at the altar of acceptance or comfort. And now, in your specific case, a quiet discussion unfolds in the realm of influence you occupy. A whisper campaign has been launched not just against your reputation, but against your spiritual identity, the core of who you are in me. They are preparing a table, not to break bread with you in fellowship, not to celebrate communion, but to feast upon the idea of your removal. They deliberate over removing you from a position of grace I placed you in, from an open door I set before you, from a promise I whispered in the night watches of your soul. But here is their fatal, profound miscalculation, their blind spot of cosmic proportions: I am the host at every table. I am present in every room. I hear not only the words spoken aloud but the hidden intentions, the secret motives, the unsaid agreements harbored in the deepest chambers of the heart. I have not permitted this moment of testing to destroy you. I have permitted it, in my sovereign wisdom and perfect love, to expose them. To expose the true condition of hearts, the true allegiances, the true foundations upon which relationships were built. They believe they are maneuvering pieces on a chessboard of human influence. They do not yet comprehend they are characters in a grand, cosmic narrative I am writing, a narrative of redemption and glory. And now, in this chapter, I am turning the page. The scene is changing. The plot is thickening in your favor. Listen, spirit to spirit. There is one among them whose conscience has become a restless sea, stirred by the winds of my spirit. One in whom I have planted a seed of divine unease, a holy discontent with the consensus. One whose spirit is recoiling at the agreed-upon plan, even if their mouth has assented. This person is my secret agent of grace. They are the pivot, the fulcrum upon which I will turn the entire situation. They are the stone in the sling of David, small but decisive. They are the Esther in the king's court, positioned for such a time as this. But for my strategy to unfold in its full, majestic beauty, you must operate in the spirit of strategic, prayerful silence. Do not react in the flesh with defensiveness or accusation. Do not rush ahead of my glory cloud, trying to fix what I am carefully unfixing. Do not confront with natural weapons of logic, emotion, or evidence. Be still in your soul, and know in your spirit that I am God. I am working in the unseen, weaving threads you cannot see. I am speaking to hearts behind closed doors. My move is not delayed, it is perfectly timed and imminent. Raising hands in the Spirit. If, as you read this, your spiritual heart quickens, if a deep, resonant knowing surges within you, if tears spring unbidden not from sorrow but from recognition, this is my spirit bearing witness with your spirit. This is the divine, yes, echoing in the cavern of your being. This truth is not just being read, it is being engraved upon the tablets of your inner man. You are predestined to hear this word in this hour. It is part of your spiritual inheritance. Raising hands in surrender. I see the full spectrum of their actions, past, present, and the future paths their decisions could take. The meeting was never, for a single second, hidden from the surveillance of the spirit realm. They consider themselves wise, shrewd, and discreet. But I am wisdom incarnate. In my sovereign purpose, I allow the adversary limited movement, like a dog on a chain, to reveal the true allegiance of hearts, to separate the wheat from the chaff in relationships, and to strengthen the spiritual muscles of my chosen ones. Now, the enemy's plan is laid bare in the spiritual court of heaven, to tarnish your name in the heavens, to hinder your prayer authority, to diminish your spiritual influence, to mute your voice in the kingdom, to muffle your prophetic sound, to stop the flow of life through you. But their profound blindness, their fatal flaw, is this: your name, your identity, your authority, is not subject to their earthly ledgers, their committees, or their votes. It is registered in the eternal, unassailable citadel of heaven. It is kept in the treasure room of my heart. And I do not author erasures, I decree elevations. They whisper in shadowed corners and hushed tones, I will proclaim your vindication from the ramparts of Zion with the trumpet blast of angelic announcement. They plot under the cover of night, thinking darkness hides them, I will manifest your vindication in the full, piercing light of day, where every detail is seen. But this critical juncture requires your active trust. You must anchor your faith, your hope, your very breath, in me now, especially when the path ahead is shrouded in mystery and the outcome is invisible to the natural eye. For I will turn it. It is my nature. It is my promise. I have never lost a spiritual battle, never been checkmated, never been surprised, and I do not intend to begin with yours. Your case is already settled in heaven, it must now be manifested on earth. High voltage encounter. The reason this transmission has pierced through the noise and reached your spirit is that the council of heaven, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in harmonious conference, has adjudged you ready and worthy of a specific, marked divine intervention. This is not general blessing, this is targeted, strategic, personal rescue and promotion. This is that moment of high spiritual voltage, where heaven's power connects with earth's need, and transformation is instantaneous. You are not broken, you are a chosen vessel, marred perhaps by the potter's fire, but perfectly shaped for a unique purpose. You are not alone, you are encompassed by a great cloud of witnesses, Abraham, Sarah, Moses, Deborah, David, Paul, who have run this race of faith before you and now cheer you on from the stands of glory. You are not being removed from the story, you are being revealed as the pivotal character you have always been in my grand narrative. Now, see this in the spirit, there is a watcher in that room. A participant in the plan, a signatory to the discussion, whose heart is becoming a battleground between conviction and compliance, between the fear of man and the fear of God. I am working upon them even as you read this. I am stirring their memories, flashing before their inner eyes moments of your unrequired kindness, your unearned loyalty, your gracious silence when you could have exposed a fault. I am bringing to remembrance your integrity in a moment of pressure. This divine recollection is shaking the very foundation of their agreement. Their human spirit, the part of them that is eternal, is resisting the coercion of their soul, their mind, will, and emotions, and the pressure of the group. A holy conflict has been ignited within them. But here is the sacred mystery I unveil to you, the divine paradox, sparkles of celestial joy. I am alchemizing their very setup into your setup for a breathtaking miracle. Sparkles of redeemed hope, the moment they believed they were silencing your voice, they were inadvertently creating a vacuum, a holy silence, into which my voice will thunder with unmistakable clarity. The moment they thought they were displacing you, pushing you to the periphery, I was orchestrating your divine translocation to a broader, more fertile field of ministry and influence you hadn't even dreamed of. They are not writing your finale, they are unwittingly setting the stage, building the set, and cueing the lights for the next, more glorious chapter of my narrative for you. And child, this chapter is resplendent with colors you've never seen, sounds you've never heard, and depths of intimacy with me you've only glimpsed in passing. But first, I must pose a question not to your mind, but to your spirit. Can you, will you, maintain the peace that surpasses all human understanding when the atmospheric pressure mounts? Can you hold fast to the anchor of faithfulness when the scales of justice seem frozen in imbalance? Can you abide in holy, trusting silence, the silence not of weakness but of supreme strength, while your name is a topic of deliberation in chambers you cannot physically enter? If you can, if you will be granted a front row seat in the spirit to a spectacle few witnesses are granted, me, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, defending you in real time, with heavenly strategies, supernatural reversals, and bewildering suddenlies that leave the opposition stunned and silent. Love letter from the King. Let this eternal truth resonate in the deepest cavern of your soul until it becomes your bedrock reality. God is not concluding my story according to their limited, fear-based script. He is authoring a superior, glorious, jaw-dropping ending, intricately tailored for my unique destiny and for maximum display of His goodness. Love letter written in blood. Understand this kingdom principle: your spiritual silence, your refusal to engage in fleshly defense, is your most potent weapon in this hour. While they scheme in the realm of time and human power, heaven is moving in the eternal realm of cause and effect, of spiritual authority. Angels are marshalling, receiving new assignments concerning you. A divine reversal is being initiated in the command center of heaven. I did not guide you through barren wildernesses, through valleys of the shadow, to abandon you at the very border of your promised land. I did not impart spiritual gifts, anointings, and divine insights only to let another, operating in a different spirit, pilfer them. No, I am about to demonstrate a fundamental law of the kingdom. When my irreversible favor rests upon a life, no earthly council, no demonic committee, no vote of man can annul what has been eternally ratified in the blood of the covenant. What I have inscribed for you in the eternal scrolls is irrevocable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. Child, let me take you deeper. Do you comprehend why every previous attempt to dismantle you, to make you quit, to cause you to abandon your post, has ultimately failed? It was not luck. Not favorable circumstance. Not your own cleverness. It was the invisible, yet impenetrable, hedge of my protection, woven by angelic hands according to my command, around your spirit, your mind, your journey, and your calling. Even in your moments of deepest doubt, when you questioned my proximity, my attention, or my care, I was there. I was the divine glue holding your soul together when spiritual and emotional forces sought to fragment you. I whispered shalom, nothing missing, nothing broken, into your chaos while the world offered only cold commentary or empty platitudes. And now I arrive again in your consciousness, not with passive observation, but with prophetic intelligence, with a strategic warning. For this time, their strategy carries a different spiritual signature, a more organized and deliberate frequency. It is not the random gossip of idle tongues, it is orchestrated opposition with intent. They have documented their intentions, written down their plans, thinking this makes them more potent. They have circled your name in red ink, a symbol of their target. But they are ignorant of a celestial truth that renders their efforts null. Your name is already written in gold, with the living ink of the Spirit, in the archives of heaven, in the Lamb's book of life. No pen of man, no decree of human authority, no ink of jealousy or fear can blot out the script written by the finger of God. That script is permanent. Michael, from his post, is observing the spiritual replay of that room. He witnessed the precise moment when the words were spoken, "Let us put it to a vote." He saw the spiritual forces of intimidation and agreement at work. And heaven's court, the true supreme court, responded instantly. The gavel of divine justice slammed on the bench of eternity. That is the moment this dispatch was commissioned. That is when I whispered to the four winds, carry this message. Warn my child. Now. Activate the protocol of protection and counter-strategy. Warning, this is spiritual intelligence. You are not imagining this. That holy disquiet you felt, that subtle sensing in your spirit that something is amiss, that a shift has occurred in the atmosphere around your relationships or calling, that is me. That is your spirit, made one with my spirit, discerning the movement of spiritual warfare in the unseen realms. It is your internal radar picking up the enemy's reconnaissance flights. Warning, you are not conscripted into a solo battle. But do not fear. You are not marching into this conflict alone, ill-equipped. I have gone before you. I have already audited every conversation, scanned every email and text message in the spiritual realm, weighed every motive in the perfect balances of my sanctuary. The evidence is in. The testimony is complete. And my verdict is already rendered, published in the heavenly record. You are staying. You are advancing. You are not disqualified, you are being prepared for upgrade. This is the final ruling from the highest court. They are in their chamber, debating your removal, your limitation. Simultaneously, I am in my throne room, preparing your revival, your awakening, your empowerment. They believe they are applying downward pressure, a weight to crush you. I am using that very pressure, that spiritual hydraulics, to propel you upward into a new orbit of authority and anointing you've not known before. Your assignment in this hour is not to fight this battle on the level of the flesh, with words, accusations, gatherings of your own supporters. Your assignment is to obey in the Spirit, to pray, to bless, to stand in silent faith, to worship. Be still in your outward actions. Let them plan. Let them convene. Let them whisper their confident whispers. For very soon, I will speak. And when I do, my Rima word, my now word for this situation, will go forth like a two-edged sword, cutting between soul and spirit, and it will cancel every pseudo-prophecy, every curse, every negative word spoken against you. It will nullify them at their root. I will not only shield you from the fallout, I will showcase you as an exhibit of my grace and power. But remember, my kairos timing, the opportune, pregnant moment, is perfect, and it often feels like a delay to the impatient soul. For now, you must be spiritually silent, not ignorant, but strategically quiet, inwardly strong, fortified by my word, and wholly surrendered, waving the white flag of your own strategies to me. Direct hit from heaven's artillery. Your mission is not to formulate a counter-argument to their accusations. Your mission is to prepare your heart, your spirit, and your mouth to receive and proclaim my divine announcement when it comes. Direct hit against the enemy's camp. For I am not merely halting their plan like a traffic cop stopping a car. I am launching my own, superior plan like a general initiating a campaign. What you perceive as a setback, a delay, a demotion, is in truth a divine realignment. I am using their betrayal as the very catalyst to unveil deeper truths about their hearts, about your own strength, and about my faithfulness. I am employing their plots as the spiritual propulsion needed to launch you into the precise position I have for you next. You have lost nothing of eternal value. Not 1 ounce of anointing, not 1 iota of calling, not 1 fragment of destiny. You are, in fact, on the cusp of gaining everything I have purposed for this next season: clarity, relationships, resources, platforms, peace. A name will surface from among them. Someone within that circle, whose heart is proving to be a pliable, fertile field for the seeds of my spirit. This person will reach a crisis of conscience, a moment of decision that alters the spiritual trajectory of the entire situation. They will be my instrument of mercy and justice. But until that kairos moment arrives, until the fullness of time for that exposure, I require one bold, radical act of faith from you. Trust me with a blindness that sees only me. Not because the path is clear or the outcome certain, but because you intimately know, the character of the one who is the path, the truth, and the life. Raising hands in covenantal agreement. Whisper this, speak this, declare this as your binding agreement with heaven now, God, Elohim, Creator of all, even when my understanding fails, when my eyes see only confusion, I trust your sovereign hands are weaving a masterpiece behind the veil of time. I choose to believe your narrative over the one I see. Raising hands in expectant faith. The shift is imminent. The reversal is at hand, its sound is in the air. What they sought to strip from you, influence, opportunity, dignity, voice, will be restored to you in sevenfold measure, the biblical number of completion, perfection, and fullness of restoration. The door they attempted to seal shut, to lock you out of, will not merely reopen, it will swing open into dimensions of blessing and authority they could not conceive in their most ambitious dreams. And this will happen not because of their sudden mercy or changed hearts, but by the irresistible force of my righteous justice acting on your behalf. Hear this and let it liberate you. You need no longer exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth, your competence, your loyalty to those whose vision is terminally limited to the temporal, to politics, to human favor. The only validation that echoes in the hallways of eternity, the only approval that determines your eternal standing and earthly impact, is mine. And I have already examined you in Christ and declared you worthy. Accepted. Beloved. Anointed. Now, receive this final truth for this cycle of the battle. They may be meeting in their anxiety, but I am mobilizing heavenly hosts in my sovereignty. They may be writing agendas and minutes, but I am rewriting the narrative of your life in the language of glory. They may be plotting a demotion, a sidelining, but I am in the back, preparing a platform of unimaginable influence and testimony for you. Hold your peace, child. Do not let it be stolen. Your victory is not pending a heavenly vote, it is preordained, purchased by blood, and now being dispatched by angelic couriers to intersect your timeline. They sought to exclude you from a room, from a circle, from a conversation. My response? I will construct a new room, a new ministry, a new sphere of influence around you, built with living stones of answered prayer and divine connections, and they will have no choice but to witness it, awestruck and confounded. My precious one, comprehend this sacred, often painful principle: to be chosen is to be challenged. To be anointed is to be targeted. Not due to some weakness or defect in you, but because of the weight of the glory you carry, the treasure of Christ in you. This is the furnace of formation, the refiner's fire for those destined for purity and power. They are not assailing you because of your failures or shortcomings, they are reacting, often unconsciously, to the unsettling magnitude of your mission in me. And within your spirit, in the deepest cellar of your born-again nature, I have deposited a treasure that is eternally theft-proof. It is sealed by the Holy Spirit. Though the enemy may stir human agents, who are themselves often unaware they are being wielded as instruments of distraction or discouragement, he cannot touch the core deposit. Archangel Michael stands guard not just over you, but over that deposit. He is not a passive spectator, he is an active, fierce defender of your destiny. And in his hand, as a symbol of this moment, he holds a sealed scroll from heaven's vault, reserved for this very appointed time in your life. This scroll contains the details of your next divine assignment, a purpose intricately tailored for your spirit that no other can fulfill, a door with your name etched upon it by the finger of God, a promise that fits the unique contour of your soul alone. But this eternal truth you must grasp, internalize, and live from. Before I release the contents of that scroll, before I unveil the next step in brilliant detail, I must witness, and you must demonstrate, your readiness. Ready to walk where there is no visible path, guided only by the lamp of my word and the inner witness. Ready to believe, to confess, to stand on my promises when your very name is under assault in the unseen realms and the natural evidence contradicts my word. Ready to advance, to take the next faithful step, when you can sense the whispers gathering like storm clouds on the horizon of your relationships. This demonstration of readiness is the core purpose of today's message, not to burden you with a sense of impending doom, but to build in you an unshakable spiritual fortitude. To reveal the stunning truth that while your name is being discussed in closed rooms on earth, your destiny is being celebrated, defended, and advanced in the war room of heaven. And heaven has ruled, the council is unanimous, elevation, not eradication. Promotion, not removal. Solemn warning. Attend closely now, for what follows is specific equipping for the next spiritual cycle, the next 7 days of your life, which will set the tone for the next season. Prophetic warning. Within this coming week, an unexpected messenger will cross your path. It will seem circumstantial, a chance meeting, a reconnection, a message out of the blue. But it is a divine appointment, orchestrated from eternity. This individual, knowingly or unknowingly, carries a piece of intelligence, a confirming word, a piece of the puzzle that will anchor and validate what I have revealed to you here. They are a human witness I am dispatching to solidify your faith. When they arrive, when they speak, receive them and their information with spiritual discernment and profound peace, not with anxious questioning or fear. This is my seal upon this prophecy, my way of saying, you are not deceived. You are not paranoid. You are divinely covered, intimately guided, and precisely informed. Now, hear this strategic instruction: a moment to speak your piece, to defend yourself, will come, but it is not now. A time to rise publicly, to take your ordained place, will arrive, but today is for sacred, purposeful stillness. Today, you abide in the vine, and I, the vine-dresser, wage war on your behalf. While you rest in me, I rearrange the spiritual landscape around you, moving obstacles, softening hearts, exposing lies. While you offer prayers like sweet incense upon my altar, I position angels at key junctures in your life, doorways, relationships, communication lines, to guide, guard, and govern. You are not losing time in this stillness, you are accumulating potent spiritual momentum, like a bow being drawn back, storing energy for a powerful release. Dove of peace. Declare this slowly, deliberately, letting each word root deeply in your spirit, displacing fear and anxiety. I will not panic. I will not doubt. I will trust that El Shaddai, the all-sufficient one, is clearing the way, making the crooked places straight before me. Dove carrying the olive branch. You need not strive, hustle, or perform for visibility. You need not craft eloquent speeches to justify your value or your place. You need not mount a defense of your character or your calling to those whose verdict is already fixed in the lower court of human opinion. You need only remember, and live from the place of, who issued your divine summons. I did. Not a man, not an institution, not the approval of the crowd or the committee. Me. The one who knew the secret song of your heart before the universe knew sound, before time began its tick. So, from a place of rest and fierce trust, let them plan. Let them meet behind their closed doors. Let them speak their pieces into the air. You are not in jeopardy. You are in a holy, necessary transition. You are not being erased from the story, you are being refined as gold in the fire, purified for greater capacity. You are not being pushed out of an old place, you are being prepared, polished, and positioned for your permanent, predestined placement in my kingdom agenda. Child, understand this display of divine character. My manifest, tangible glory does not typically appear in seasons of ease, comfort, and universal acclaim. It erupts, it breaks in the darkest hour, when all human hope seems lost, when all visible support vanishes, when silence and solitude become your only companions, then, at the precise moment the enemy begins his victory chant, I reveal that you were never alone. I unveil the scroll of your destiny. I ignite your name with holy, consuming fire. And I establish you upon the rock of ages, the unshakable foundation I always intended for you. Scroll of Destiny. Inscribe this eternal verdict upon the living tablet of your heart, let it be your meditative mantra, heaven has cast the final vote. The court of eternity has ruled. My story, authored by God, culminates in overwhelming, undeniable glory. Scroll unrolling. The moment is now. The asterisk Chi.